Hey, I'm Jenna.
I'm Whitney.
We don't want to work out.
Like ever, but with each other's support,
we can master manageable workouts together. We did it. Okay. All right. So today we're going to get into some core, which is my favorite thing in the entire world to do. So I'm very excited. I want to first just quickly start off by talking about what is the core, because I do think there's a little bit of confusion out there over what the core is. I think a lot of people think it's just your abs, on the front of the stomach here, but core is everything from your armpits to your knees. So anytime you're working on any muscle group from your armpits all the way down to your knees, you are working on your core. So today what we're going to focus on is all trunk, but I did just want to kind of throw that out there. And the reason that that's true is because everything connects to the core, right? So every muscle in your body connects back to the core through the hips. So if you're working on your hamstrings, you're technically working on your core because you're also strengthening your hips. That's why that's true. So anyway, the most important thing is that it's not just your abs. So I think what we'll do first is just a little bit of warm up. So we're just going to do a cat-cow stretch. All right, so we'll just get on all fours here. All right, and we're just going to, cat-cow is essentially, let me just get a little closer to the camera. All right, cat is just kind of dipping your stomach down. Actually, I need to go back, and lifting your head up, right? And just kind of letting the stomach sink, pressing out through the shoulders, chin up, looking up towards the ceiling. Just kind of breathe into that for a second.
And where should we feel the stretch the most here?
That would be on your front, like your abdominal region is where, and your neck. Yeah. Okay. And then on your next breath in, you're going to raise the center of your back. Oh, that's tight. Oh boy. Yep. Ooh. Oh my God. Yeah. Just raise it up, dip that chin in, press out through the shoulders. Don't sink into those shoulders. All right. And then on your next breath in, you just sink that stomach back down and reach the head up. All right, on your next breath in, let's just send that back up, curl the back up. I'm a little alarmed by how this feels right now. Very tight. Okay, all right. And we'll come out of that, all right? And then I just had one more thing I wanted to do to kind of wake up the sides of the core a little bit. We just did the front and the back, right? So I just want to wake up the sides here. So the way I do that is I honestly just come up on your knees or sit back down on your ankles, doesn't matter, right? Hands up, and we'll just do a little bit of a side stretch here, just anchored on the ground instead of standing up. And just really send the hips outward. If the hands are going left, send the hips right. Just really kind of sink into it.
You know, I've never done this stretch on my knees before, and it's so much more effective, for me at least, than when I'm standing. I'm not quite sure why. I'm in a less awkward position.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I actually prefer to do this one on the floor, and I think it's because when you're standing, you're more focused on like balance, like I think when you're grounded, you're more like getting deeper into the stretch. We'll just go back and forth here a couple times. And also when you do this on your knees, whether you're sitting down or up on your knees, you're also waking up those core muscles a little bit. So it's like a really good core workout warm-up. And I like to feel this stretch all the way from my pinky all the way down to my knee. Ooh. All right, we'll get one more in and then we'll get right into our workout. We're just going to do 10-minute core today, and that's all you need. Core is one of those beautiful things that, like a lot of exercises, you don't have to do it for 2 hours. 10 minutes a couple times a week is tons of core, plenty, and you'll notice major changes in your body if you just do some core every week, a couple minutes. So, all right, so we're going to do 5 exercises 2 times through. All right, we'll do the 40 on, 20 off. And I forgot a timer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess, because I'm pretty good at guessing what 40 seconds feels like, because I'm a rower and I feel very in tune with what 40 seconds feels like.
Okay, are you sure you don't want me to use my watch, or do you want me to use my watch so I can make fun of how off you are?
Why don't we go with the second one? All right.
Okay, what's our first exercise?
All right, our first exercise is going to be a plank, and I'll explain these as we go along so we can just jump right into it. All right. So we're going to go into a plank position here. All right. And it doesn't matter if you want to do on your arms or on your elbows here, the Sphinx plank. Either one is fine. I'm going to go up on my arms because it feels a little better to my shoulders. All right. So we're on
for that as well. Right?
Yeah. I feel like it also strengthens my shoulders a little bit too, which I always feel like I need.
Yes.
The only thing that's important. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say my shoulders feel more supported here. I feel like when I'm down on my elbows, I'm more likely to sink as I get fatigued, and I'm a little less likely to sink here.
That's a great point that I was just going to bring up, is that you do want to make sure that you're pushing out through those shoulders and that you don't sink in, like you just mentioned. So just be mindful of that no matter what your position. And I agree, it's easier to stay up here. All right, that feels about 40 to me. All right, so we'll come out of that. How was I?
Well done. Yeah, you did great.
Oh, thank you. Okay. All right, our next one is going to be leg lowers. All right, so we're going to come on our back for this. Okay. We're going to start with our legs up. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I am wearing my work clothes right now because core is the kind of thing you can do anytime, anywhere. You don't need to have special suit for it. All right, so legs up. All right, and we're just going to lower them down. We'll start here. All right, and you want to just kind of lower them down, almost touching the ground, and then just kind of raise them back up. And what's important here that you want to kind of think about is keeping your lower back planted on the ground. You want to make sure your lower back is not curling up on you. And if it is, that's okay. Don't lower them as low. Just go a little shallower with it where your back feels stable.
Is there any sort of advantage or disadvantage to putting your hands underneath your butt when doing this?
Yeah, so I don't think there's an advantage or a disadvantage. I think it might make some people feel a little more stable, especially if their back hurts or if it feels very tired or weak. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want that extra support, do it. You're going to get the same work, though, in your core. All right? We'll stop there, okay? Our next one is going to be bird dogs. This is like my favorite core exercise. So we're going to get on all fours here, okay? And we're going to alternate sending the left leg up and the right arm out, okay? And then and we'll just keep switching. I'm not going to keep time on this first round. We're just going to switch at your own pace, alternating sides. And one thing I like to think about when I'm doing this, first of all, this is one of those ones where no need for speed here. Just move at your own pace, nice and slow. Make sure you feel stable. And I like to really press through that back leg as if I'm planting it on a wall. I think that helps. All right, we'll just do 2 more here and then we'll move on to our next one. Okay, that is a great stabilization one. If you do nothing else for core, if you just did that even a couple times a week, like 20 each side, you'd be doing great. All right, our next one is going to be bicycles. All right, so we'll get back on the back here. I tried to alternate on the back and on the front on each one. All right, and this is one of those ones where we just kind of want to move slow, hands behind the head. We're on. All right, shooting the opposite leg out, touching with the elbow. So we're just alternating sides here. And if that made no sense, just look at the screen because I'm pretty sure that made no sense. Just watch me and Whitney.
Hopefully we set an okay example.
Yes. Nice and slow here. Slower is actually better on this one. I like to do this one in sometimes I like to try to do it in slow motion even. All right, we'll do 3 more. That's 1, 2, 3. All right, we'll go to our last exercise in this first section here, side planks. Okay, so same thing. You can go on your arm or your elbow. We're just going to come on one side. Okay, for these, I'm actually probably going to go on my elbow. All right, because for me, that feels a little more stable, but it's different for everybody. Lift those hips up, stack your feet, and we'll just hold this for 20 seconds, and then we'll switch to the other side. And something to keep an eye out for here, just try to keep that hip as high as you can and try to prevent it from sinking backwards. And if this is difficult to hold up your body, right, bring the top leg over to the ground and just kind of touch your toes to the ground for a little more support. That's totally fine. All right, let's switch sides. You guys can see Whitney's throwing that opposite arm up into the sky. That's always an option. Some people like to do that for a little bit of stability. Some people like to maybe keep that one arm just kind of touching the ground a little bit. Whatever you need there. And I'm really focusing on pressing my hips forward just to prevent them from sinking back here. All right, and drop. Okay. So we'll just take a small rest here, and then we're going to go through that same series again, but I am just going to dial it up just a tad. All right, so I'll explain as we go how we dial it up. And if that's not something that you're ready for, and you just want to do the same exercises again, great, that's plenty. Even if you stop the video right here and you walk away, you did great. All right, you ready to get into it?
I'm ready to go, yes.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's go through these again. We'll go back into our plank, okay, but this time, if you want to dial it up a little, you can switch between arms and elbows, and just at your own pace, just kind of keep switching. All right, so we'll get right into this. All right, take your time. Make sure that you're keeping that core stable the whole time, right? And you just kind of want to squeeze your butt muscles and kind of squeeze your abdominals and just try to keep everything very stable as you switch between the two.
I can even feel, I understand now how our abs and our hips are engaging because of the balance aspect of all of this. It's all a part of balancing.
Oh yeah, and your quads and hamstrings are working very hard to do this as well. That's why I included them before. All right, let's drop. All right, next one, we're gonna go to leg lowers, okay? Same thing, but this time we'll add a butt raise, okay? So if you wanna add the dial in, or if you wanna dial it up a notch, okay, you're gonna lower your legs, but when you come back to the top, lift your butt off the ground for a second. All right, we'll get right into this.
I definitely feel like my form is better, and me personally, when my hands are a little bit more under my butt. And I think that keeping your technique is going to be a little bit better than losing your technique and risking getting hurt.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Doing it with stability is more important than doing more of it. I totally agree with you. And I think that's true for most athletic endeavors.
Yes.
All right, we'll do 2 more. Okay, that last lift in. That butt lift never gets easier for me. I always struggle with it on the last couple. All right, next, bird dogs, okay? But this time, instead of switching back and forth at our own pace, I'm just gonna have us hold it for 10 seconds. And so we'll just hold it for a little bit longer, all right? Okay. All right, so we'll get on all fours, right arm out, left leg out, and we'll hold here.
You've done a nice job switching which muscles are targeted so that everything's kind of getting a break.
Oh, thank you. Switch?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I definitely tried. Switch. I like to switch back and forth from being on my back to being like upright like this too, because I just like, if I feel like if I do too many things on my back and I really start to strain my lower back, And that's not the goal. Which does bring me to my another point. This shouldn't hurt. It might be uncomfortable, but it shouldn't hurt. So if your lower back is hurting, then, turn it off, stretch, come back to it, another day, because this is not meant to hurt you. All right, drop. Okay, and on that note, if you do have back pain, core is the best thing you could possibly do to relieve that back pain. So maybe you just need to do half the workout until you build up some strength, and then come back if this is something that hurts. All right, so next we're gonna do bicycles. Same thing, we're just gonna do holds. All right, so we'll hold one side for 20 seconds, and then we'll hold the other side for 20. Okay, all right. Okay, here we go. Right leg out, right elbow touches left knee, and we're here for 20 seconds. And again, I just kind of want to remind people to keep that lower back planted to the ground as much as you can. And if you are having a hard time with that, bring that right leg in a little bit. Just bend that knee in a little bit to give your back more stability. That's totally fine. All right, and let's switch sides now. Left leg out. Did you feel that switch?
Yeah, and the other side is not recovered.
Oh my gosh. I think that holds are like, sometimes not moving is harder than moving,
Yeah. I can't, like my elbow's getting further and further away from my knee.
Drop? Yes, that is it. Drift. That's what I call that, drift, when you're holding something and you start drifting apart. That happens on everything. Yeah. All right, last one. All right, so we're back to our side planks. Okay, but this time what we're going to do, instead of a static side plank, all right, we're going to do a bit of a moving. Okay, so again, I'm going to go down on my elbow. You can go on your arm, whatever works for you. Arm up, and then arm reaches around just to touch the center of your back, and then arm up. All right, so we'll get into this one. We'll go half on each side. All right, so reaching the arm under, and then reaching the arm up to the sky at your own pace.
Should our body be turning when we are reaching under our body?
No, actually, you should really try to hold your body as still as possible.
Okay.
And keep that core. Yeah, the more stable you keep your core on this one, the more it works it. All right, let's go one more this side, and then we'll switch to the other side. Oh. Switch, yeah, that one adds up. That's a tough one. I'm sweating. All right, yeah. Oh yeah, it's also warm out today in general, but
yeah, we're going to be back in the 80s on Saturday.
I know. We're supposed to be in the 70s, so it's like a beach day.
Yeah.
Little mid-November peak foliage beach day. Oh wait, October. All right, one more. Doesn't matter. All right, great, you did it. All right, so core, again, my favorite thing in the world. It prevents injuries. It increases stability. The stronger your core is, the easier other workouts are. So, if you kind of keep up with your core, like I said, a couple minutes a week goes a long way. Even just doing one of these exercises a few times a week is going to do so much. And then when you get into like a harder workout where maybe it's like a circuit, you're doing squats, you're going to find that those are getting easier and easier the stronger your core gets. So, all right. So I figured we can just kind of cool down and fade out of this video in child's pose. So how do you think? How do you feel about that?
Show us child's pose.
Okay. So child's pose, we're just going to come down like this. All right, and we're just kind of resting on the backs of our legs, sending those arms forward, forehead to the ground, and just let it all fall. The way I like to think about this one is like, I want to feel my body melting into the ground. And if you want to get a little bit of a back stretch in, you can kind of reach those fingers out. You can reach your hands over to the left or the right, kind of stretch out your side. Or just sit in child's pose and breathe. Don't worry about it. All right. You can stay here in child's pose as long as you want, or you can be done. Drop the ball at the last second. Hey, great job today. Thank you for working out with us. You can follow us at idontwanttoworkoutpodcast on Instagram, or shoot us an email at idontwanttoworkoutpodcast@gmail.com. We can't wait for the next one.